I've been using the Galaxy S24 Ultra for the past 72 hours, and here's my experience so far. And by the way, if I tip you over the edge into picking up a Galaxy S24, I'll leave links in the description so that you can purchase one quickly. Now the biggest things that caught my attention are of course all of the new AI features packed within it. The one that I find most helpful is Circle to Search. I mean, it's just so easy. I can long press on the nav bar, draw or scribble over the object or text I'd like to learn more about, and it'll Google search it. From there, I can even expand on that search by asking it a question about the item, getting an alternative option, and more. I definitely had my doubts when seeing it at Galaxy Unpacked, but in person, it surprisingly works really well. It searches for items instantly, and 9 times out of 10, it can find what I'm looking for. If you really think about it though, it's just Google Lens, but I'm glad that Google and Samsung teamed up to make this feature a lot more accessible instead of needing to jump into an app. Another AI feature that I enjoyed using was Chat Assist. It's found within the Samsung keyboard, and it helps me improve my writing whenever I write a message, since it'll help me change the tone or check the grammar. Sometimes the replies can be a bit cheesy, but I mostly use them when writing emails to sound more professional. Another awesome AI feature is Live Translate. Whenever you're on a call with someone who speaks a different language, you can tap on Call Assist and then select Live Translate to get a live translation and transcription of what the other person is saying in your language. It works really well, and so far it supports 13 languages. When editing a photo, I can use a new AI feature called Photo Assist to resize and move any objects or people around. It's just like Magic Editor on the Pixels, and unfortunately, it didn't seem to work as well as Google's version, but it's still manageable. And that's just the tip of the iceberg on all the AI features that Samsung packed into this device. They have so much more, including summarization and translation within the Notes and Recorder app. They help to improve the quality of your photos and videos, and a lot more. I'll be sure to go over all of them in great detail in my full review of the S24 Ultra, so stay tuned for that, and get subscribed with the notification bell turned on so you're the first to see it when it drops. Another software feature that I'm really fond of, and surprisingly haven't seen too many people talk about, is that Samsung has added support for lock screen widgets. They're yet another Android OEM to jump on that bandwagon. They had widgets before when you tap on the clock, but now it's front and center, similar to iOS, where they tuck nicely underneath the clock and even transition smoothly to the always-on display. It's really nice. Surprisingly, this isn't the only new feature that got swept under the rug by Samsung. In my last video, I went over 18 more features that Samsung released, but didn't talk about at their Unpacked event. I'll leave that video in the cards if you'd like to watch that. I'm also really happy that Samsung is supporting a whopping 7 years of OS updates and 7 years of security patches for the entire S24 lineup. Freaking phenomenal. The next big thing that really caught my attention when using this flagship was the design and build quality. I've been using the titanium gray model, which looks incredible and feels fantastic in the hand. It's got a light feeling design, slightly slimmer bezels, and a flat screen and back, which I'm a huge fan of because I'm all about flat designs. And even though the screen is flat, the sides aren't. They're slightly curved to make the phone easier to hold and maneuver. Of course, you still get that classical S Pen with its same useful software features and silky drawing elements. I can never get over how useful this is for Snapchat, or when I need to use it as a remote for taking pictures from far away. Still, being that Samsung is closely following Apple's footsteps in removing stuff like still not including a charger in the box, I'm surprised that they still haven't let go of the S Pen. But I understand that it's still super important for some people, so power to the few of you who still can't live without it. What should also be important to you is making sure that all of your online accounts are secured by not using any weak passwords, or the same one over and over again. Because trust me, cyber attacks are happening all the time, even in 2024. That's why I always tell my friends and family to start using a password manager. Keeper Security, the sponsor of this video, is one of the best options out there. It has a zero trust and zero knowledge security model with full end-to-end encryption, ensuring that everything you store inside it will still be protected even in the worst case scenario. Not even Keeper staff can look into your vault, which tells you how serious they are about privacy. On top of that, Keeper doesn't just store your passwords. It lets you add your credit cards, licenses, passports, or any other important file to access it on any other device, no matter if it's your laptop, iPad, or smartphone. The best part is that when it's time to log into an app or website, Keeper can automatically fill in your login details with a simple tap, freeing you from needing to remember your passwords ever again. So start securing and protecting all of your online accounts with Keeper Security and use the promo code HowToMen to get 50% off both personal and family plans. I'll leave the link at the top of the description. Now, the cameras on the S24 Ultra have mostly been fantastic. I don't want to give my full conclusion on it just yet because I've only had it for a few days, but one thing I am pretty confident about is that this phone is one of the best devices for capturing zoomed in shots. I mean, the detail and stabilization is fantastic. Even at most extreme zoom lengths, it's pretty much next level. This time around, Samsung even swapped out the 10 megapixel telephoto with a 50 megapixel telephoto to provide even crispier shots at up to 5x optical zoom. It's not 10x anymore, but it's still welcome. I'll be sure to do a deeper dive into all the cameras within my full review of this phone, so make sure to get subscribed so that you don't miss out on that. The rest of the camera hardware is the same as its predecessor, consisting of a 200 megapixel main lens, a 10 megapixel telephoto camera with 3x optical zoom, in addition to the new 50 megapixel 5x telephoto lens, and a 12 megapixel ultra wide. Now, the next thing I really liked about this flagship is just how smooth and quick everything is. Now again, I've only used it for 3 days, so take this with a grain of salt, but One UI has never felt so smooth. Don't get me wrong, One UI was still fast on the S23, but now with the new Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 and 12GB of RAM, everything seems to fly. I can't wait to compare it against other flagships like the OnePlus 12 and iPhone 15 Pro just to see how fast it really is. Plus, I really hope this performance really lasts in the long run. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. On top of that, Samsung stated that the Ultra now has a larger vapor chamber for better heat dissipation. So I'm very curious to see how hot this device will get after I start pounding it with some very tough editing sessions and long hours of gaming, or even just everyday use. So far, it's been staying cold to the touch when doing regular everyday things like messaging, scrolling through social media, and watching content. The massive 6.8-inch display is also great. It's still 120Hz, LTPO, AMOLED, and it's even brighter now at 2600 nits instead of 1750 nits. It's definitely not the brightest screen on a smartphone. After all, the OnePlus 12 does have 4500 nits, but it's still big and beautiful, which I'm definitely going to enjoy for all my media and gaming. As for battery, storage, charging speeds, wireless charging, water resistance, and other specs found within this phone, they're pretty much the same as its older brother, the Galaxy S23 Ultra, which I'm totally fine with. What has changed is the price. It's selling for $1,300, which is $100 extra from last year's model. So it's pretty expensive, and it's definitely going to take a lot for me to recommend this phone at that price tag. So far, I can say that this flagship checks almost all the boxes, but again, my opinions can definitely change in the coming weeks as I start to use this phone more and more. I'll be sure to drop my full review by next month, so make sure to get subscribed so you don't miss out on that. Also, just a quick reminder that you can purchase this phone through the top link in the description. It's actually interesting because I've learned from the past year from most smartphone releases that the majority of big name smartphone brands have already found their desired look, and they're not really looking to change it. Sure, they'll tweak a few things here and there, but they won't change the entire design because they want to keep that identity. Instead, they're focusing more on the software now and trying to figure out how to improve the overall experience, especially with generative AI being the new wave of smartphone tech. And that's what we get with the S24 series. If you watch this video right here, you can actually learn about 30 Samsung One UI features that can actually change the way you use your smartphone. It's a pretty incredible video that I made a few months ago. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Kapow!